There's a right way to do a lease purchase or a lease option, and then there's a wrong way. Let me tell you the right way to do it. So when you're constructing a lease purchase agreement with a seller, and simply that means that a lease purchase is just a delayed cash sale with a seller. Simply means that you agree upon a price or a locked in specific amount of equity. You agree upon a monthly payment. Typically, it's going to be done where you're just taking over the monthly payment if there's a mortgage on the property. And you're going to be agreeing upon a specific time frame or term. On or before that term, you then pay the seller the equity. The right way to do this is when you lock in a specific amount of equity, not buying it at a specific purchase price. Why? Because you're able to begin creating equity in the deal. You're able to begin creating wealth without ownership. I want you to understand what I just said. You're able to create wealth without ownership. I'm sure many of you that have watched this video now are just blown away because I can tell you before I understood these concepts, I thought that the only way to go ahead and purchase a property was to go ahead and go to a bank, personally sign on a loan, and go purchase the property. Or go ahead and raise a bunch of capital, pay a lot of points, meaning paying interest rate on that capital, and then go purchase a property. I'm telling you today that you don't have to worry about any of that, and you can still begin building wealth, long-term wealth for you and your family. Once you've locked in that specific amount of equity and you start building wealth, really what I want to discuss here today is properly exiting these deals. Unfortunately, there are too many people that are on YouTube right now, they're on stage right now, teaching you the wrong way how to sell lease purchases, or the wrong way to run a rent-to-own program. They're telling you to go ahead and place buyers in properties, collect large non-refundable deposits, and then what are you going to do? You just let them go off on their own. Well, unfortunately, that is going to lead to a large amount of defaults. That's going to lead to a large amount of buyers losing their life savings, or losing savings that they believe was going to start building their lives, start creating generational wealth for their family, giving them the ability to purchase a property, and now, because they were not given the proper guidance, have lost all of that. Now, I know maybe legally that makes sense. Legally, they can do that. But morally and ethically, that is the wrong way to begin helping those that did not know that there was a pathway to homeownership to get them to be homeowners. That is the wrong way, because really what you're doing in that situation is you're just rolling the dice and hoping that that person defaults. This is the right way to do it. The right way to sell real estate on rent-to-own programs is to surround these now buyers with specialists. Specialists like the real estate investor that understands the financials on that property. Surrounding them with credit repair, credit enhancement companies that understand the buyer's picture, snapshot right now, like their debt to income ratio, their credit scores. Surrounding them with mortgage lenders that can properly put them in a successful position by understanding when their mortgage readiness date is going to be. Meaning, if they do A, if they do B, they'll be ready for a mortgage. Now, can you see the difference between collect the down payment and let them go off on their own, or collect the down payment and surround them with amazing people that can help guide them? Look, you're watching this YouTube video because you're trying to learn about how a lease purchase works. I seek out mentors and coaches for myself. My family does it as well. That way we can be guided to get to a better outcome more quickly. So why wouldn't you take that exact same concept and surround these buyers to help them get to a place where they can be successful? Now, I did mention down payment a couple times. Down payment is huge, and it will determine if this buyer is going to be successful. The buyer has to have skin in the game. But also what that down payment, that non-refundable down payment is going to do, it's going to, number one, put their feet to the fire. Yes, put skin in the game. But number two, it's also going to show the mortgage lender, show the bank when they go get a loan that they have skin in the game, that they put down a deposit, that now the bank only has to supply 90% of the funding or 80% of the funding because they've come to the table with 10, 20% down. They're not only going to be able to get into any mortgage plan, but they're going to be able to get into some of the best programs. And any mortgage lender, any bank out there would say this: if you can change the percentage of interest for a buyer, it's going to save the buyer hundreds of thousands of dollars over the course of their loan. This is what I mean by doing things the right way. Once you've established and walked this buyer through this process, you now want to execute a closing, or what we would call a closing, but really what it is a formal lease signing that they do in front of the attorneys. Now we do this because it protects all parties involved. When the buyers come to the table and they sign their documents and they bring their non-refundable deposit, it's in front of an attorney. That way they understand the documents. The attorney can also collect the funds. We can make sure that those funds are sourced, because at the end of the day, 1, 2, 3 years later down the road when they go qualify their loan, that money needs to be sourced. That way the bank can properly allocate that and make sure that these buyers are going to be able to become homeowners. As you can see, this is a very particular process that we bring everybody through. Now, after these buyers have been placed in the property, and after we've done that formal lease signing, while they're living in the home, we're going to be doing sporadic checkups with those buyers. Not because we don't trust them, but because we want to make sure that they understand that we're a resource throughout this period of time. Also, if it is credit repair or credit enhancement that they need, they're going to always be in touch with the specialist, so that way they can constantly improve their position for buying. And then once they get close to the end of their mortgage readiness date, or the date in which we agreed upon that they would have to go get their own loan, they're connected with a third-party lender or a bank. That way they can start the process of getting their own loan. Can you see the difference between the right way and the wrong way? I certainly hope you can. So if you are interested in not only creating wealth for you, but being able to create a win-win situation for the buyer and the seller, I highly recommend that you go to smartrealestatecoach.com/mastersclass and understand the right way of doing lease purchases. That way we can continuously improve not only North America, but the nation itself.